Okay, so in this video, I share with you my first impressions of the all-new and larger Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here. Let's go ahead and jump in. First things first, the unboxing experience. Now, as you would expect, the unboxing experience for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here is no different than what we saw with the regular Tab S9 FE here. And what I'm trying to say here is that it's pretty straightforward. You have the tablet sitting immediately at the top there as soon as you open the box. Below that, the first thing you will notice, of course, will be the Samsung S Pen, which is matching the tablet in color. Right next to that, you will have a box containing the charging cable. It's a USB Type-C charging cable, but we do not have a charging brick in the box, right? So you will have to buy your own charging brick. But anyway, so you have the charging cable. Right next to that, you have another box that will contain the micro SD card slot pen ejector. And in that same box, you will find the quick start guide or the manual or whatever you want to call it. And that's pretty much it. The unboxing is fairly straightforward. So now that we have that done, let's go ahead and talk about just the build. That's going to be the first thing. So the design of the tablet here, I'm happy to see that Samsung has reached a point where they have some level of consistency going. If you're not familiar, this is the very first time that this model or this series is coming in a pair like what we have here. We have the regular model and then we have the larger model. In the past, what we had was just one model, and that was the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 FE, which was the same size as this. But anyway, so let's talk build quality. The tablet itself is well built. I mean, Samsung has been in the game for so long, and I don't really expect anything less than what I have here, right? So I'm impressed by the build quality, but at the same time, I was expecting it, right? It's a solid build. Brushed finish here feels really good to the hand here. It's a boxy tablet, and it will likely require two hands hold. But anyway, so this is a large tablet, right? So let's quickly go over some of the physical features that we have here. Starting off at the top there, we have one mic along with one speaker. This is one of two because what you have here is a dual setup for the speakers. One here and one, so one on the left and one on the right, which is proper speaker setup so that when you're holding your tablet this way, whether you are in a video call or watching a movie, playing games, the sound will come out this way and you'll be able to enjoy, have a positive user experience. On the right-hand side here, we have something that's new. We have a fingerprint sensor, and that fingerprint sensor is embedded in the power button. So it's going to serve as your power button and also your fingerprint scanner. Personally, I prefer physical fingerprint scanner because they're more secure and they are faster than the optical, than scanning your fingerprints on the screen. Below that, we have the volume rocker. And below that, we have two additional mics there to pick up sound. And finally, still on that same side at the bottom there, we have the micro SD card slot. And by the way, if you haven't done so already, please hit both the like and the subscribe button there. I truly appreciate that. Anyway, so at the bottom of the tablet, what we have would be that second speaker I mentioned earlier. We have a USB Type-C port. And finally, on the left side of the tablet here, we have pogo pins. These are connectors that you would use in order to snap in your tablet here in the official Samsung accessory made for this particular tablet, right? So if you wanted to turn this into a mini laptop where you can use a keyboard, you could go ahead and snap that in. Now, first impressions when it comes down to these features here, I'm impressed by the speaker. So if this is your first time and you're not familiar with this particular tablet, I can tell you that the sound quality coming out of here is excellent. It's tuned by AKG. They made sure that the sound coming out of here is very, very crisp. And it's loud, much louder than what we have on the regular Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE there. The fingerprint scanner is wicked fast. It's really, really quick. When you scan, you are in, and it's also very secure. Continuing with the physical features, on the back here, we have a dual setup for the camera. And this dual setup contains an ultra wide and a wide angle camera. Now they're both 8 megapixel. Don't worry about these specs there. We don't expect tablets to have cameras that are better than what you have on your phone. On the front of the tablet here, we have a selfie camera, which is also an 8 megapixel camera. And I think that's pretty much it when it comes down to the physical features that we have on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here. Now, as far as the config goes, meaning the breakdown, whether you want something with more memory or less memory, you get two configs. you have the base model, 128 gigs of internal storage, which is what I have here. And you have the ability to expand that internal storage at up to 1 terabyte using a micro SD card through the micro SD card slot that I highlighted earlier, right? So that's always good. If you were to go for the 128 gigs of internal storage, then that would afford you 8 gigs of RAM. Already plenty for you to be able to run things in the background. But if you go for the 256 gigs of internal storage, that, my friends, will afford you 12 gigs of RAM. That is major. That is really, really big. To those of you who do a lot of things at the same time and just have things running in the background, that's going to be a major play. And that as well, you can, go ahead and expand that internal storage at up to 1 terabyte using that same micro SD card. When it comes down to the variants or the colors currently available, you have the lavender, which is what I have here. You have the mint, which is the color that I picked for the regular Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE. Then you also have a silver and the gray. Now, I've seen all of those colors, and I can tell you that so far, this is the one that I like. I really like this lavender color. It has kind of that soft feel to it. It just looks nice. Which reminds me, if you happen to be in the market for a tablet, make sure to hit the link that I have in the description there so that you can take advantage of the discount currently available on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE and the FE Plus here. So use my affiliate links. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the display here. What you have here is a 12.4 inches display. It's a beautiful display. I mean, Samsung makes top level displays. What you have here is an LCD display, and the resolution here is 1600 by 2560. The PPI is 243. Essentially, everything that I just said means it's a nice display, right? It looks good, the colors are vibrant, and on top of that, this series or these two tablets actually support higher refresh rate at up to 90 Hertz. A high refresh rate simply means that you'll be able to enjoy scrolling on your tablet better, right? It's not as choppy as you would have on some devices that are at 60 Hertz. So here it has an adaptive, higher refresh rate where it could go up to 90 Hertz depending on the type of content. Meaning as you're enjoying content or you're scrolling through or navigating the internet and scrolling through stuff, it's going to be pretty smooth. Actually, fairly close to what you get with the flagship devices. Not exactly that, but pretty close, right? Because with the flagship devices, you get 120 Hertz. But anyway, so a nicer scroll, a better user experience on that display there. So that's always a plus. And before I actually dive deeper, into the performance and some additional specs, this comes with one feature that's currently only available at Samsung on their flagship devices. It is rated IP68, simply meaning it is water and dust resistant. Now, if you haven't followed the channel for a while, then you probably know that I tested out the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9, S9 Plus, and the S9 Ultra. I dropped them in the pool and left the S9 in there for about an hour without any issues. I want to go ahead and try that with it, because the IP rating that I just highlighted essentially says that you can drop this in a pool of water for up to 30 minutes and you'll be fine, maybe even more. Now, I'm not advising you to go ahead and do that. But anyway, so just wanted to quickly highlight that feature there. Let's go ahead and dive into the performance. The chipset here is Exynos 1380. To keep it simple, it's a mid-range processor, right? So processing power here is what you would be expecting from a mid-range tablet or mid-range device there. So when it comes down to your day-to-day tasks, you won't even notice anything. It's going to be wicked fast. So far from, what I've been testing it on the past few days, because I've had this for about 4 days now, no issues whatsoever. Now, granted, I didn't necessarily go as deep or as heavy as I do when I test out flagship devices, but I can tell you that when it comes down to mid-level, productivity work, even somewhat heavy productivity work, this has handled all of that like a champ. Although I have to admit that it did crash on me twice, but that was on the first day, and I had a lot of things, running in the background because I was moving my apps, because I typically like to keep everything, current on all of my tablets. So it crashed twice on me that day. But then again, that's not really an indicator of what the tablet performance is going to be like in the future. Typically, when you buy one or any other device out there, right, the day you are transferring all of your data, especially if you have as much data as I do, the tablet would typically struggle a little bit that day, and then of course regulate to make sure that it keeps up with your way of using the tablet. So to those of you currently interested in picking up this tablet, who are looking for something mid-range, this will definitely handle that. And why don't we even answer a couple of the questions that I've gotten on the video that I made on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE. One person asked what's causing his tablet. He just got his tablet and he's wondering what's making it be warm. Well, on the first day, as I mentioned earlier, if you are transferring your data, moving from one device to your tablet, it's doing a lot of computational work in the background. It's doing a lot of work. So obviously it's gonna, put a little bit of weight on that processor, right? So it's normal to, for it to be warm that first day, or maybe even the first couple of days as it's going through all of that adjustment. Because again, remember, these devices tend to learn your habits, your using habits, and then of course adjust according to that. So that would be one of the possible reasons it is, getting warm. One of the questions that another person asked was, can you use this for schoolwork? Absolutely, right? You could definitely use this for work, for schoolwork, because remember, the Tab S9 FE Plus here does support Samsung DeX. Some of you may not be familiar with what Samsung DeX is. It's essentially a program, or look at it as a program that Samsung has that would turn your tablet into a mini laptop, right? So the UI here is actually going to change and look like a laptop. You have like a desktop setup there, and you'll be able to, toggle in between multiple windows with ease, right? It's going to be easier to do it in Samsung DeX mode than it would be on the regular tablet mode. When it comes down to performance, so far, it's been a few days, the couple of hiccups that I've encountered, I thought, that was normal. Obviously, when I make my full review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here, I will go ahead and make sure that it's a bit more comprehensive, and I will include all of the pros and the cons of this. Anyway, so moving on here, let's go to battery. I won't really tell you how good the battery is going to be with you specifically, simply because it's subjective. I say it all the time, and I'm always going to say it because it depends on the type of usage. It depends on the apps, the things that you do with your tablet, right? But I can tell you that it's a fairly large battery here. You have a 10,090 milliamp battery. That is a pretty large battery, and you are pretty much guaranteed to go the entire day. On top of that, the tablet itself does support fast charge at up to 45 watts. If your battery was to go ahead and die, you can actually get the tablet up and running again rather quickly, if assuming of course you have a 45 watt charger. Even the 25 watt charger actually does the job just fine. And also another question that someone asked was, can you push out video signal? The answer is still no. What you have here is a USB Type-C port, USB Type-C 2.0, so no video signal. I know some people say that they have ways to, I don't know, use adapters to make that happen. Personally, I don't want to have to go around and use a bunch of adapters just to get the picture out. If you are currently looking for something that can push out video signal, I would suggest for you to go ahead and pick up either the flagship, the current flagship, but if it's out of your budget, then you may need to consider something like the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 from last year, or the Tab S8 Plus, so something from last year, or even the Tab S7. In some situations, I would actually be willing to recommend the Tab S7 in some situation. But anyway, so that's battery. And of course, the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be the S Pen. What you have here is the regular Samsung S Pen. So all of the features available with the previous ones, you have that here. It's a fantastic stylus. It does not charge. That's another question that one of you guys asked. Can you charge the battery? No, it is not an active pen, but it has plenty of features, the copying and, moving things around and copying things or dragging things into text messages. It is a fantastic tool. It truly increases your productivity, especially if you learn how to use it and to use it right. On top of that, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here will support the Samsung S Pen Pro. So if you're looking for something a bit more pro, maybe with the gestures that are currently available with the flagship devices, then, of course, you can pick up the S Pen Pro when it drops in order to do that. Now, with all of this said, this particular video was meant to be just my first impressions, and I don't want to go too deep in it because I want to still go ahead and continue to test this tablet here so I could come to you with an actual review of this that's a bit more comprehensive and that can answer at least most of your questions. So if there are things that you would like for me to go ahead and test out, or you'd like for me to go ahead and play with on this tablet, let me know in the comment section. Make sure to comment, right, so we could get that going. Let me know if you would like for me to go ahead and do a water test of this tablet also. If you want me to drop, or if that's one thing that you're concerned with, I'd be more than happy to try that. And I think we've covered it. So let me know what any questions you may have in the comment section. Make sure to like the video if you haven't done so already. Make sure to share. Make sure, of course, to comment, as I mentioned. And if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button there. I'm going to catch you in the comment section. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.